Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for the penultimate race of Season 2 for the Brazilian Grand Prix. If you guys missed the last episode, you can always go watch it in the card in the top right hand corner of your screen to get up to speed before we jump into any spoilers. But today, we're here at Brazil, no rain expected on the weather forecast, which is absolutely fantastic. And as you guys know, you can look in the top right corner of the screen, we've actually got almost... we've just broken the 6,000 point barrier for R&D points, and we're starting to save up. We are going to spend them in this episode at the end of the video. Once we get through practice qualifying of the race, once we have maximum R&D points, we're going to spend them. Meanwhile, in R&D in itself, Williams are the big movers in this race as they pretty much cement themselves as the fourth quickest team and take a big step towards Haas, who are currently third, and Red Bull also brings some more upgrades yet again, and further establishing their dominance at the top of the pile. And we're still the seventh quickest team, or the seventh slowest team, depends how you look at it. But yeah, hopefully we can add to that in this video. Now, in this one, the upgrades are going to be focused on the stuff that doesn't give you performance boost. It gives you, better reliability and cheaper upgrades. But I might try and sneak in a couple of performance upgrades if we have enough points left over. So let's see how that gets on. Either way, you can see on the screen right now, practice took place around Brazil, and we're using 104% AI around here, exactly the same as the last race in USA. And I believe I ran 104 last season in Season 1 around here as well. And it was about right for me. And practice went well. We got a pretty decent amount of R&D points. Not the most. I think we did about 285 out of 325, but still a decent amount. And no complaints there. A lot of people asking me why don't I do the tire management test or the ERS management one, and it's just because those two are very they're not easy to do, in the sense that if you want to get a maximum score, which is what I want, they can be quite annoying because you have to be very perfect. And I like to generally just get through practice quite quickly. And fuel management is very easy. Race strategy is very straightforward because it's all about just doing laps and getting comfortable with the car, which is what I like. Not having to drive to a set delta or be very, very quick. So yeah, overall happy at practice. We're now moving to qualifying, and I felt somewhat confident in this session. I wasn't 100% confident, but you know what, I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. Again, we've got to be realistic with what the car is, and it's ultimately not that quick anymore, so we've got to try our best to drag out the order. You can see currently here in Q1, I'm actually on my first time lap on the soft tyres, and we're 1.1 down on Lewis Hamilton after 2 sectors, and it wasn't too bad to be fair. It was a pretty decent opener, but unfortunately 1.1 around Brazil, such a short lap is quite a lot. We cross the line and we go P13, which is not great, and I knew I had more time in it, so what I did was I had enough fuel in the car, so actually after that lap I had a cool down lap, recharged everything, and then I went again on the exact same set of tyres and on the exact same run, because I knew there was a bit more lap time in that, and I know we can improve because P13 is close to getting knocked out. So we're going to go again and use the exact same set of tyres like I said before, and we didn't actually pit in, so this is all back to back, if you will, and it actually paid off, to be fair. The second lap was really, really good, and it was actually surprisingly good, similar to Kota, where when I used the used set of tyres, they were really, really fast. The second time lap on these softs was also really, really fast. It completely surprised me, and it was actually my best lap of the weekend, to be fair. This lap was really, really good, and I pretty much maxed out what the Ferrari car could do on their second lap as we jump up to P8 and actually inside a second to Lewis Hamilton, which is really, really good for us and something I haven't seen in a little while. Eventually, though, as the session came to an end, others would improve elsewhere, and we would end up 1.3 off the pace, and actually got pushed all the way down to P14, surprisingly. So good thing that we did improve, because we would have easily been knocked out. But now in Q2, you can see here 1.4 down, and we have a poor exit out of the final corner on my first of 2 runs in this session, and this was actually a fresh set of softs, to be fair, but again, for some reason, the fresh set not as quick as the used set, or a second time lap on these tyres. We go P12, but not a good lap by any means, and overall really struggling on that first run. But this was my final lap in Q2, so let's stay on board with it and let's see how we get on. And straight away you can see throwing the car into turn 1, really nice and tidy there, now through turn 2, carrying the speed and a lot of momentum there, and actually pretty much nailed that first couple of corners. And sector 1, to be fair, really, really good, really happy with that one as we now go down towards the start of sector 2, 1/10 off Lewis Hamilton through sector 1, which is probably my best one so far, as we go flat out through turn 5 and now into the double rights here at 6 and 7, just throwing the car in, focus on your exit to really get on the power nice and early, use the curve on the left a little bit if you need to, and then tuck the car in for the first of multiple hairpins through this very tricky and slow middle sector, which is all about mechanical grip and car grip at low speeds, as you can see again here through the second hairpin, getting the apex beautifully, using first gear to get the rotation, and then on the power once again, getting a really good exit down the hill as we now go into the final brake zone on the circuit. It's the final corner in terms of, you having to actually brake and accelerate and turn. The rest of it is flat out. So from here on out, it's just flat out to the line, using overtake ERS to really maximise the lap as we bring the car to the left-hand side for the shortest run to the line. We are going to improve, and it's good enough for P11, just behind Sebastian Vettel, who's currently P10. But eventually, there's a minute left in the session, everybody else improved behind us, and we got pushed down to P14 and Sebastian down to P13. So, yeah, overall, we don't really have the pace around here, to be honest. We tried our best, and my lap in Q1 might have got me P12, because it was a 0.4. But yeah, overall, not too disappointed. We maximised the session, and I was never going to get into Q3, and I'm quite happy with that, because I actually prefer having a free choice of tyre. When I haven't got the pace, I'd rather start outside the top 10 and have that strategy benefit. So yeah, overall, a decent session. Hopefully we can do better in the race, and fingers crossed we can try and score some points, because that's going to be the target in the race. With that being said, though, it is now time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Let's do this.
Where there's a will, well, there's a way. And nowhere has that fact been better demonstrated over the years than here at Interlagos. Remember Senna winning while fighting a gearbox that was jammed in 6th? 5 Drivers' Championship deciders in a row between 2005 and 2009. And of course, the passionate Brazilian fans packing the grandstands to capacity every year. And they're not about to stop now. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junção into one of the 2 DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we kick off by discussing Kevin Magnussen? They've had to change their gearbox. It's never a good start to a Grand Prix when, right off the bat, you have to contend with a grid penalty.
Well, at the end of the day, it's always better to take some pain now than parking it up halfway through the Grand Prix. Let's just hope they can put that new gearbox to good use and get the results they're looking for.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Pierre Gasly yesterday puts him on pole, and Devon Butler lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Weber, Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo and Leclerc, Norris, Perez, Russell and Kevin Magnussen. They've taken a grid penalty. Sainz, Raikkonen, Martinez and Bottas, Verstappen, Stroll, Daniel Kvyat and Antonio Giovinazzi. Vettel and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, so here we are then on the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix, starting from 13th place on the grid, getting promoted 1 position due to penalties. I believe Sebastian Vettel's got a penalty, which is not ideal, but we're going to start pretty low down, and the target is simple. Try and score some points, to be honest. I'm not really going to set like an objective in terms of 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th or 5th or whatever. We're just going to try and get into the points, and that'll be a good race for me, because we don't really have the pace around here, and we are struggling quite badly. In terms of strategy, though, we're going to run the mediums onto another set of mediums onto the softs. Now, originally, the game recommended soft to hard, just a one-stop strategy, and it's about 4 seconds faster, but the hard tyre is not a tyre that I enjoy that much. And then the alternate strategy is soft, soft, medium, which I could do, but I don't trust the soft tyre in terms of both tyre wear and also overheating. So I'm going to play it safe and go medium, medium, soft, and hopefully be quick at the end of the race. And we'll see how tyre wear progresses. If I feel I can use the soft tyre, then I might try and use 2 sets of softs. But for now, we're going to just run the medium and see how the tyre holds up. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it and let's have a little bit of fun and let's see how we get on in this race. It's time for round 20 for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Let's do this. Right, here we go then. Let's move up the revs and get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Not a bad start, to be fair. We're on the start tyre. We're going to go to the inside and go straight back down the inside of Bottas here, who made the move on us early on. We're on the outside of turn 2. Bottas will have the better line, so we're going to have to let him go. Multiple cars queuing up behind here to make a move. We're going to have to turn the engine up here to try and stay in front. Use the tow from Valtteri. And we should be able to stay in front. There we go. So we drop down 1 position, down to P14. So that's not too bad. Sam on a slower tyre. Seems like I'm the only person running the medium tyre in this first stint. So we'll be at a disadvantage, at least at the beginning of the race, as we go down the inside of Bottas here on the brakes. Just going to make sure we get the power on there to squeeze him out, and there we go, back to where we started now. So we've recovered from that loss of position early on, and now behind Kimi Raikkonen here, who's also on the soft tyres. Bottas looking down the inside there, sorry, Verstappen actually looking down the inside of Bottas, and now look at me as well. Too wide here between the Haas and the McLaren, just in front of Kimi here. We're just going to watch from the distance, watch from afar. Not the best traction there, that's going to cost me. I was hoping to get a bit of a run on those guys, but it hasn't quite materialised. As that one draws to a close, and look at this, Raikkonen's going to challenge here and try to make this 3 wide, I think, with Sainz and the Haas. Just going to sit back and see how this one unfolds. 3 wide into turn 1, Sainz has to back out. That's going to put him on the back foot now, and here we go, this might be my chance to try and get past one of the quicker cars. Overtake and rich mix engaged on the McLaren, getting a slipstream. Sainz is going to hold the inside line. Not quite enough grip there for me to really try and switch back there. And Raikkonen making the double overtake there, getting past both of them. Okay, we've got DRS on Sainz. It's important to stay within that 1 second window. We need to try and stick and follow with the cars in front if we want to stay in this race. It's important that we stay in this battle with all the midfielders as long as we can on this medium tyre, so then we'll get the benefits at the end of the race on the soft tyre. So no mistakes, we've got to be strong. Okay, I've settled into the race now. Verstappen's actually dropped off a little bit, the pressure's come off from behind. And we're starting to make some progress here and start to catch up a little bit on Sainz. And I want to say that's Magnussen, but I'm not 100% certain. And this is massive train of cars. You can see on the mini-map, massive queue. This is good for us in terms of our strategy, because it's going to help us out massively. So, so far so good in this race. We're hanging in there. AI have just picked up their pace suddenly in the last lap, and I'm struggling to hang on. I'm no longer within DRS range of Sainz, so Max might start reapplying the pressure here. Just a sudden shift in AI's pace because I'm matching my personal best, so nothing's wrong on my end, just the AI have cranked it up a bit. Again, just kind of a reality check that we are starting to struggle now with our car, but luckily we've only got one more race left after this. But again, we match our personal best. Okay, we've managed to get ourselves back within DRS range as the Mercedes, who started on the front row, are starting to drop back through the field. That's bringing everyone back into contention, as there's lots of battles going on everywhere. And this first stint is still going on, and we're still in the mix here, which is good. So we're hanging in there, which is what we want. I made a small tweak to the brake bias, down to 56, to try and reduce the front knocking a little bit, and a little bit braver on the brakes, and it's working okay. And I'm just clinging onto DRS at the moment. Really up close and personal now with Carlos Sainz, but I'm tempted to make an overtake, but I know I just don't have the pace, so I'm kind of in two minds. Norris in front of him as well. McLaren seem to be struggling for pace a little bit, as the Mercedes continues to drop through down the field. We are gaining on Carlos here. Was tempted to go for a move, little lunge there, but I haven't got the right tyre for it, to be honest. But we'll just sit here, I'm happy to hang in. Like I said, the target of this race is just to score points, not really making any predictions as to where. I think, like, even if I got P10, I'd be happy, to be honest. Okay, car's pitting in. Meanwhile, Sainz has turned the engine up and he's putting an attack on his own teammate. As we jump up to P12. And Sainz gets past Norris with P11, or P10, sorry. One thing's for certain as well, I've looked at my tyre wear. I can already feel my tyres don't feel that great. The car feels very unstable. And tyre wear is relatively high, around 30% on the rears. So I'm definitely not going to run 2 soft tyres, but it's going to be probably the strategy I made, which is a medium soft. We're probably going to go for that one, so we're going to commit to that strategy, I think. Suddenly, Sainz has just come alive in this race, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try and challenge Norris here. I'm not sure if he's going to pit or not. Either way, we're going to try and make a move. Norris does stay out, DRS open. Anybody else in the pit lane? Yes, we've got a Red Bull in the pit lane.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the mediums.
We're going to start making some moves now and try and put this tyre to work. The problem is, obviously, we're in a DRS train, which is not ideal. Norris under serious pressure now. Something tells me the AI are trying to one-stop this one, because they're not really pitting in that quick. Either way, we've got the one on Lando here, and Lando does actually come in, so that's going to release us, and now finally a few cars pit in. I'd say they're within the window to go to the end of the race on hard tyres if they wanted to. That could happen. And personally myself, I am reconsidering the hard tyre every passing lap, because that would give us a lot of track position, and the cars in front haven't really pulled away from me, so it could be quite a strong one. A very strong option, and save a pit stop. If I could just catch a glimpse to see what tyre that Red Bull's on, that will confirm it to me as the remaining soft tyre runners pit in. I think they're going to go for the hards, I really do. Let's have a look.
Box. We're coming in this lap.
Yeah, Weber's on hards. Leclerc's gone onto the hards. Okay, we're gonna change our strategy. So we're gonna pit for the hard tyres. We'll pit in on the next lap, I think. We'll go hard tyres. We're gonna switch to the one stop because it seems like the AI are gonna do that. So I want to do the same. And I want to have track position. What do I pit in this lap? Right, we're going to pit in for the hard tyres. I was tempted to go lap 20, 21 and go for a soft, but I don't really like how these tyres feel, to be honest. They're going off a bit too quickly for my liking, so we're going to just pit in. A little bit of lag down pit entry, but we'll be okay as we come in. Very cautious entry. I could have pushed that a little bit more, but like I said, a little bit of lag didn't really help me out. You guys won't see that, luckily enough, but into the pit box. Come on, boys.
Go.
Just stop 2.1. Onto the hard tyres. Lance Stroll coming in behind us. There was a train of slower cars behind P15 or lower. There they are. You can see them on the minimap. We're going to come out.
Speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
We're going to come out right amongst this pack here because there's those lower end cars who still haven't come in, including the Racing Points. Let's make sure we don't lose our front wing. Pit exit time. Here we go. P13. We've managed to get back in front of Sainz, which is good. And there's battles going on all over in front of us. We've got the freshest tyres out of everybody here, so that might help us out a little bit in the long run. But there's a couple of Racing Points in here, which is kind of ruining the party for those guys. So hopefully we can make some moves. This is going to be my big chance to make a move for some points, as we're all over the back of George Russell here. I'm going to try and go for a little sniff, maybe a little move somewhere. Good exit there, good traction. Down the inside. George Russell trying to turn in on me there, but not sure why. I was actually in front of him, to be fair. I wasn't even alongside. Through the final corner. Let's get a good exit. Good traction, that's what I'm talking about. Let's stretch our legs. We've got a full battery to deploy here on Lando Norris. Look at this speed difference in the McLaren as the Racing Point pits in. We're going to go to the left hand side of the McLaren. Into turn one. Lando trying to hang it around the outside. I'm going to go for a little squeeze. There's 3 wide in front. Be careful here. Let's maybe try and pick up a few pieces. Looks like the Mercedes is causing some trouble here. Lando's going for the rear overtake. I had a look down the inside of Kimi there, but no way through. Come on, there's a P7 up for grabs here. If we can just clear this Mercedes, that Haas is going to make his way through. I believe that's Kevin Magnussen. I've left the door open there for Norris to try and come through. And he is. I'm having to go late on the brakes to try and hang it around the outside and show Norris the long way round. Kimi goes defensive. That's going to hurt him. That's going to hurt him big time. He hasn't got much of a toe. It's going to be easy pickings for us as we start to make our moves here on the hard tyre down the inside. There we go. We're going to blast past the Williams. Up to P9. Here we go. We're making progress now to the points. The fresher tyres paying dividends and having a fully charged battery and lots of DRS to deploy. We've still got DRS now, which is good. That Mercedes is still holding on, so that's going to help me out. Magnussen going for the move on the Mercedes. He gets past Pierre Gasly relatively easily. Will Gasly return the favour now, going down towards turn 4. I don't think he's close enough. I think he's actually going to be in trouble here, as we maybe might be able to challenge Pierre here. Pierre goes defensive. We're on the outside of the Mercedes. Is that possible? No, Pierre gives me the squeeze. We pick up a track extension warning there, even though I didn't really have nowhere to go. Let's try and get past this Mercedes, and I'll take PA every day of the week. That's 2 track extensions now, in 2 corners pretty much. So no more for the rest of the race. That was quite annoying, to be fair. Very silly mistake, that second one. So we've got to keep our nose clean now for the rest of the race. I should be okay. I've not done any cuts all weekend long, so I should be okay. Let's see if we can pass Gasly here. There we go, pretty good exit. The Mercedes, as we saw before, isn't too quick on the straight, so we should be okay to challenge. Well, this time seems like he's really giving it some. He's going to challenge Magnussen, it seems.
Burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
They both take compromised lines into turn 1. We're going to try again here. Down towards turn 4, like last lap. Looks like Pierre's giving it a little bit more on the Mercedes engine. And we're not going to be able to get past just yet, so we're going to have to just hang on a little bit more and maybe try again next lap. Ooh, okay, that's good because Perez is in front of us. So there could be another position up for grabs. Potential for P6 in this race if we get past Magnussen and Gasly. I think Magnussen's too quick. This time we've got the legs on Gasly here. You can see the difference when he has to turn the engine up. Here we go, we're going to power up to the back of the Mercedes. Even with DRS, we're going to have a lot more overspeed. Down the inside at turn 1. Job done. And we are through past the Mercedes of Pierre Gasly. And we're going to hang on to Magnussen's DRS as well. Let's try and keep him in our sights. Seems like Kevin doesn't have much pace in this race, so we might have a chance of getting back past him as well. Up to P8 now though. Fantastic progress on this hard tyre. This stint's been fantastic so far. And surprisingly, the tyre's actually working quite well. Didn't expect it at all. I was kind of forced to go for this tyre. Once I saw everybody else going for the hards, it was you know, I couldn't go for the 2-stop. It'd be too slow and too many overtakes. Pulling away from Gasly here. Look at the mini-map. We're actually hanging on to Magnussen. Going to give it a last bit of engine power as we've got a Mercedes in the pit lane. Devon Butler. So we're now up to P7. Potential for P6 if Perez, of course, drops back for the order. Maybe even P5 if we get past Magnussen. But I'm not holding my breath. That Haas car should pull away. But for now we're hanging on and Gasly's now out of my DRS. So it's looking good.
Right, some information on Ricciardo. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Let's go. Both Renaults with car trouble. I said it in the last episode, everyone's got reliability issues. That regulation changed last season and me protecting all the durability components on the car is finally paying off. Renault's having trouble here in Brazil and we're starting to put the pressure on Magnussen here, but all this reliability trouble is giving me a chance to pick up the scraps and get a good finish in this race. The problem is the Renaults are quite far ahead, so will the reliability issues persist long enough, for me to be able to catch them up? We'll have to find out, but we're starting to put the pressure on Magnussen here big time, but I am running out of fuel in ERS, so I'm going to sit behind Kevin for now, for a few laps, and I'm going to try and run Limix and none, try and charge the battery up and also get some fuel on side, and hopefully then we can try and pass him and actually try and pull away and make it stick. That's the plan. Okay, then we've charged up the battery, we've got a nice bit of fuel now. And I'm going to try and reclose the gap without using high engine mode. I want to try and catch him up in standard engine mode. The Renault's just up the road now into turn 1, so we're catching up. That Renault might play a part in me trying to tire my overtake to get past Magnussen, as we so often do. So let's try and wait for that Renault and see if we can make something happen. And Magnussen's really putting the pressure on now. This is probably Perez. It's the first of the two Renaults to have trouble. Let's turn the engine up. Let's try and follow him through. You can see that Renault visually struggling. Magnussen's struggling to make a pass here, but this is going to put him on the back foot now. We tried to go on the outside, it didn't work. And look at this, we've got the overspeed. We're going to box him in as we go past the pair of them. Like I said before, we're going to use the Renault to our advantage. And there we go. We're up to P5. We've got the pass done, the double overtake. Executed to perfection. Ricciardo is going through turn 4. So we could get P4 in this race somehow.
They're speeding up again, so I expect they fixed whatever the problem was.
Oh, that could be Perez, because he was the first one to go. So Perez's Renault could be back to full speed. That can make it interesting. We'll have to try and keep 2 cars behind us now.
It seems they fixed whatever the problem was. They're coming back up to speed.
I think that's probably Ricciardo, which is a shame because we were just starting to catch him up. He's just up the road, 3.3. But I think he's back up to full speed now, so both Renaults have avoided the scare. Shame we could have had a P4, but still we're P5 in this race, and we can definitely hold this. I've got enough straight line speed, I think, to hold on. So let's try and play our cards right. 8 laps to go. We can make this happen. Perez getting back past Magnussen, or trying to at least. They're both side by side. Takes a little bit of pressure off of me and buys me some time as Magnussen's going to try and re-challenge Perez, I think. But I think Perez had DRS. So Perez stays in front and he makes the re-overtake count. So let's get ready then. We've got to try and defend from that Renault now. Okay, Perez might have a look at me this lap. I'm pretty low for ERS and fuel. I'm starting to run out as I'm trying to hang on. And that Renault is quick and Perez has put the pressure on big time here. He might have to run at me if I don't get a good run through here, which that wasn't too bad. Here comes Perez again. Should be okay to stay in front. Personal best first sector. I'm on the limit of pace, I've got nothing more to give, so this is everything I've got. Here comes Perez, I think this is going to be the one. I'm running out of fuel in the RS to contain him. We're on the inside, he's on the outside. Can I put the squeeze on? Yes we do. That's going to keep him away for now. I'm going to try and save fuel in the RS in the second sector because I'm literally running out. Perez is going to challenge me again here. He's got DRS. Trying to hold it and overtaking Rich Mix as long as I can. But it burns up so quick around this track. Okay, this is the one now. He's really on me here. This is the closest he's been. Cover the inside once again here. Show him the long way around. That'll do. We can work with that. Come on, Magnussen, do me a favour and please challenge Perez here. That wasn't the best exit. I caught a bit of the curb. I tried to turn the engine up a little bit later this time so I can hold the higher engine mode for a little bit longer. Perez is really coming at me this time though. 2 laps to go. We're going to hold it on the inside. Perez on the inside for turn 2. Just hang on somehow. Come on, Magnussen, put him under pressure, man. I'm begging for a little bit of help here. He just can't get past that Renault. But we're able to stay in front for another lap. Just got to hang in there now for a little bit longer. Come on. Okay, no messing around this time. We're going to push from the get-go. Looks like Perez is giving it absolutely everything, though. He's coming at me with full engine power. Around the outside again. Shoes lock up from me there on the inside, but we are going to get it. We're just going to turn across him into turn 2, and that's going to buy me the time that I need. We won't be under pressure into turn 4, I don't think. Or will we? Oh my god, where's that come from? I'm going to have to turn in early. Perez was gaining so much even without a slipstream, but we've managed to stay in front.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
Weber wins. Let's keep it nice and tidy through the rest of the lap. A 108.3, that's like 1.5 quicker than me easily. The Red Bull absolutely dominant, and that's going to maybe give him not a championship, but it's going to put one hand on the championship because he was 10 points clear, I believe, going into this race. Let's focus on ourselves. One last corner, let's focus on getting a good exit here. That was okay, we'll take that, that's good enough. Rich makes an overtake to the line. Perez might challenge, but I don't think he's close enough. We're going to come home for our fantastic P5. Get in! Forza Ferrari, grazie ragazzi. Grande lavoro, grande gara.
Right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Lucas Weber wins the Brazilian Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and he actually got the fast lap as well, so he's going to extend the gap by 8 points, and I believe that's going to pretty much put one hand on the World Drivers' Championship for Lucas Weber, and that might just ruin Hamilton's chances. The Charles Leclerc P3 in the Haas, but 25-26 seconds off Weber's lead. The Red Bulls, they were absolutely dominant. No one could touch the Red Bulls. They were a class above the field. And the Haas and the Renaults weren't that quick today. You know, even though they're right behind them in the R&D chart, I think it just goes to show the Red Bull is still a Red Bull car. And around a heavy downforce circuit like this one, they really did shine through. And I think you can still see the strengths of their car. But you know what? Ricciardo P4, good race for him with car trouble. We come home P5. Really did not expect that. Really happy with that one. And I'm not really sure where the pace came from, because all weekend long we were struggling. Even in qualifying, you saw that we just didn't have the pace. And we gave it everything. I haven't changed anything. You know, the difficulty is still on 104, same as qualifying. And we've just had race pace. I mean, I say that we're still 45 seconds off the lead, and we kind of shithoused the way to a P5 by jumping Perez when he had car trouble and Magnussen at the same time. Really, I should have finished P7 in that race, but you know what? We've got to take it and strike while the iron's hot. We managed to snatch a P5, and towards the bottom, Sebastian Vettel, only P16, a poor race from him. I believe he had wing damage because he was last for the majority of the race until the pit stop. That first stint, he was miles behind everybody else, and then I think in the pit stop he got a front wing change, and he did a really good recovery in the final part of the race because he was last by quite some way. So a bit of a poor race for Sebastian. You can see by his lap time, 109.9, much quicker than most of the cars in front. But yeah, overall, it is what it is, and P5, I will absolutely take that. In terms of the standings, though, going into the finale, the final race of Season 2, Weber has an 18-point lead over Lewis Hamilton, and that could be it. I can't lie, it's going to take a miracle for Hamilton to win unless Weber has car trouble or retires from the race. We're P3, and we're mathematically safe now. Leclerc cannot take P3 from us, which is great. Sebastian Vettel still P7, but Ricciardo and Gasly breathing right down his neck. Perez also not too far behind, so that could change in an instant. Hopefully Sebastian can hold on to P7 even with Ricciardo's quicker car. In terms of the constructors, we're still 20 points ahead of Haas. Mathematically, it's still up for grabs. They could still turn us over in the last race, but it's going to take a miraculous effort, I think, from both Haas cars. They're going to have to get a 1-2 finish, and me and Seb to only score like a couple of points for it to happen. So we're looking good, and I think we should be okay to secure second place in the constructors, which is great. And overall, no complaints. But Red Bull, wow, so dominant. They're about to be double points. They're 12 points off being double points of what we've got. They've absolutely dominated all season long, and I think they're going to fall just short of the 800 point mark, I believe, but still a really dominant season from the Bulls. And yeah, guys, that is it now for the race. But we're now going to move into the laptop, because I said it for a while, we've been saving up a lot of points. We're now going to make some very, very, I'd say, intelligent upgrades. We're going to try and invest in other areas to try and have 1 hour next season to really make sure the development is really, really good. So let's jump into the laptop and let's do some upgrades.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you? Would you say the championship is already won at this point? Do you have any comments about the collisions? Well, thanks anyway.
Okay, so here we are then on the laptop. It's been a little while, but we're going to make a lot of tactical upgrades for next season, and hopefully this will help us out. Now, we've got 7,000 points to spend, and we're going to spend the majority of that right now. Obviously, we've got the next race in Abu Dhabi, and I've already achieved my bonus, so we're going to get a 600 point bonus on top of whatever we do over the weekend. And also, you normally get around 2,000, 2,500 extra points end of the season bonus as well. So that's what we used to do for upgrades. But for this one, we're going to focus on a few things. Now, first of all, you can see on the chassis and the engine, these upgrades here, we've done 2 of the department efficiency ones, or the factory efficiency ones, which are the ones that make the upgrades cheaper. We haven't done any on the aero yet. What we're going to do is we're going to add 1 more to the chassis and the engine here. We're also going to add the first one of the factor quality control, which is actually the chance of failure has been reduced by 7.5%. So we're going to do 1 on each here. So we'll go to the engine as well. We'll do 1 here, and we'll also add on one of the ones that make it cheaper. And we've still got 3,200, and we'll do 1 of each on the aero, because the aero is not so important. We're actually doing quite good for aero performance. We're actually, if you look at the chart at the bottom, it's our strongest car part. Where we need to work is engine and also chassis. So yeah, overall we've got 1,700 points to spend. I can maybe just buy the first upgrade now, which will be an ultimate chassis one. So do I just start? I think we should just start, to be honest, because we may as well. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to upgrade in the next episode anyway, so we're going to throw that one on there. And can we go for an engine one possibly? See, this is going to be the big one. In the next episode, I'm probably going to buy all 4 of these major engine ones, because there's so much performance there. There's so much pace to discover with these major engine upgrades that it's worth throwing them on. So we're going to sit there and wait. We're going to leave that ultimate upgrade on. I could do some aero work. Even then, I can't even afford these minor ones, to be fair. They're still quite expensive. What about in the chassis as well? They're quite expensive. So yeah, for now I'm just going to leave it there, and in the next episode we'll do lots of major engine ones, and we'll save those 500 points, give or take, and hopefully we can try and spend them over the winter. But guys, that is it. The foundations have been put in place, and we've made the chassis, the engine and the aero cheaper and more reliable. Hopefully that pays off going into Season 3, because it's going to be a bit of a long game. It's not just going to be about the instant performance over the winter. It's going to be, you know, the rate we upgrade during the season, next season. So, yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content. And also turn on notifications to not miss any videos from me. And also finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But guys, that is it for this video. I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.